Yeah. So, guess what, everybody? We just press record. Coming to you with episode 2 of Your Daily Dose, brought to you by KPTZ. I'm your host, Luther. This is my great friend that I have on today's episode. His name is Justin Avalos. Hey, Justin.
Hey, how's it going, man?
You like how I just went straight into it?
I really want to just be like, this is the Coffee Time podcast.
I love that you brought it up. I actually thought you were going to say it, but so deep cut about man 6 years. You know what? Oh, hey, if you're sitting in the car, laying down, on a walk, on a beach, in a park, wherever you're at, let's adjust that posture before we take your daily dose. So let's all take a nice inhale and a collective one. Go now. Inhale. Hold at the top. Get a little more. And open mouth exhale without. Wonderful. Now squeeze the butt together. Energize that spine. Nice tall posture. And let's fall into it. So Justin just made a reference. Coffee Time podcast. That was our first crack at a podcast when we what is it? So you'll say what is it? Permanent change of duty state, whatever. When you transfer, we were in the military. That's how we met, and we were stationed in San Diego, California. But then we had to do go to Washington State in 2019. So we decided right before we left to start a podcast called Coffee Time. And yeah, that was just a deep cut. How you doing, bud?
I've been decent, surviving. Could be a lot better.
Hey, man. Better is always good, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've been definitely taking care of my health a lot lately. I'm actually doing physical therapy now, so getting my body right, eating a lot better, doing a calorie deficit, and getting into the gym a lot more, and taking care of my mental health too.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And guys, you're going to, if you become an avid listener here, you're going to hear Justin's voice a lot. Uh, we have a ton of stories and experiences to share, but also we have a ton of things in the future that I just know that we're going to experience together.
Hmm.
He talked about physical therapy. He has got me into, which I find just out of this crazy. I used to preach that you should not run, the law of diminishing returns and everything. And this guy got me to sign up for a half marathon this year. We completed it together in Las Vegas. It was a rock and roll half marathon. It was awesome. I feel
Hmm.
like I'm gonna do it unless something is just I just can't do it. I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life because it was such a cool event and experience. But I cannot believe I used to preach. I was always into movement, steps, neat, get your steps, 10K steps, hike, walking, but running no. And this guy got me into running, which I find is crazy. So what's going on with your physical therapy? What's bugging you? What's aching you?
It's the usual thing. My feet have been always a problem of mine. Then, of course, my knees. I remember I used to always make fun of my knees in the military because I
My
always complained about them.
knees. Dude, you were the we used to call you the up kid, you remember? Like the chubby little cute up kid. Well,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
cute though, so don't even get that. But he when he's walking, he's like, "My knees hurt," and he just falls.
Yeah, but I had messed up knees. I just always had this chronic pain for years, and whenever I started this whole running journey, I knew I needed to really cope with that and figure out how to deal with that pain with the training I was doing for the marathon I completed last year. And luckily I was able to get through it, but this year I've really added in strength training and different things like that. And I recently a few weeks back completed another marathon beach debate here in Corpus Christi,
Let's go.
and I saw that, man, like, my recovery time like was cut in half. My actual time of finishing, I shaved off about 30 minutes of running time. So just being able to finally start taking care of myself the proper way and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm seeing like it's definitely made an improvement on everything. I mean, I'm already down what 15 pounds, and that's just from eating better, not over start eating and not eating out as much, doing my meal preps, things like that. So I've definitely been seeing a change for sure.
Yeah, and dude, it's so funny. You bring up the knees comment, and it was not my first thought of mine was since I'm in this new, not new, but I guess I'm just evolving into when I hear someone's in pain, I just want to help them get out of it. Like,
Hmm.
and whatever that causes, is it weight loss? Is it stretching, mobility, yoga? Is it just
Hmm.
general stress release? Because a lot of people don't understand, like, sometime that their injuries, because your body's so wound up. And we're both veterans, and boy, what I know about veterans is we live our life like our fists are constantly clenched. I mean,
Hmm.
our hands are in a fist position. That's what I'm trying to say. So, but my second thought was the my knees and everything. But dude, I think your journey into this is so crazy because let's just take it back in the past. Um, and I kind of want to talk about how like if you can share and while we go back and just talk about some history between me and you, and on the
Hmm.
physical side of like you running in the military, doing your physical fitness test twice a year, and then now doing dude, you've done how many, 2 marathons, and what, how many
Hmm.
how many half marathons?
I've done 2 marathons, officially only two halves, but whenever I do my training, I do it a couple of times.
Which is dude, I'm still blown away. So while we go down this journey and just recap some things, or revisit, I mean, I want you to think about, like, and if you can, just a graceful way to try to encourage someone to run,
Hmm.
because I think you can put it in a better way than I can. Because how, I've always known to like be physical. Like I'm like, okay, I have to run. Like,
Hmm.
and I hear this and I see this with a lot of people in their fitness journey or in their journey in life. They're just like, I hate working out. Like, I just hate it. I'm like, yeah, you don't. And like in my mind, I'm like, I love that I do find joy in it. I recognize that I do find joy in it. But I also recognize that I don't need to find joy. I just need to do it.
Yeah.
Which some people, they don't feel that way, and I don't like fault him at all, because
Hmm.
it's physical fitness is such a weird thing. I used to think you had like, and I still do. So I will always say you need to lift some weight. You need to
Hmm.
get your hands on some iron, but you don't have to, because we live in this world now with like these awesome advanced machines, if you want to go there, or like these really cool yoga practices that focuses on like really like nice holds that develop great strength, or sandbag training, or
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, man, I don't want to. I want to just give the space to speak for a little bit and just talk about like your journey into this like marathon mindset, like, and take us back to kind of where we met. You know.
Yeah. So, like you say, we've been in the military. We were in the same division. We crossed paths a bunch and we hung out in the same circles. But, me and you didn't get off on the right hand at first. But then, the more we hung out, the more we started learning about each other and everything like that. We became really close. And like you say, me and you had a common love of YouTube and wanting to create content. So, one of the first things we did after that deployment where me and you became close was film a challenge video together, going to Old Town San Diego and doing a random challenge of just kind of getting out of our shells, talking to strangers, and taking photos of them, and seeing who could take a better photo.
Spoiler
So
alert, I won.
yeah, and it's so funny because that memory actually came up on my Facebook, and I'm just like, man, like it's so crazy, like how kind of where we started knowing each other, and then just becoming so close that it was just a recurring thing where we just started hanging out, filming together, taking these trips, doing these different things together, and just really getting to know each other. And now how many years later, and we're still close, and still talk as much as possible. But yeah, going to the running thing, in the military, I was
It's a good brotherhood.
never a strong runner, bro. Like I knew I passed every time because I would throw up immediately after. Like that's how weak of a runner I was. And
And
I
what year was
always just
this?
dreaded it.
What year was this? Just to put it in context for people.
I think we met around, I want to say, 2016 time frame.
I believe so.
Yeah, it was, I want to say, 2015, 2016. And then, we started really hanging out around 2017, 2018. And that's when we, started doing the filming together, getting to know each other. And then we decided to create the podcast together, just talking about the random things, that were on our minds, different topics, and, just really growing close in that until I eventually, uh, went to shore duty here in Texas. So, you were still there in San Diego, just about to get out, and I had re-enlisted for an additional 4 years. So even, over here, the running was even worse. I was completely out of shape. I weighed the heaviest I've ever been, which was around 220 pounds. And I was really just disgusted with myself. And, I'd fluctuate with my weight, and I'd get into the gym and like be manageable, but I was never into fitness. Like I never dreamed of being where I am with my running journey. And back in 2024, I went through a very messy divorce. And after I had gotten served divorce papers, something kind of happened that I never thought would happen. I found religion again. And, I'm not trying to be preachy or anything like that, but this is just, what I went through. And, so I started getting into that, and all these different signs kept coming up. Like I watched this YouTuber I follow, and he was doing this thing for his 26th birthday of doing a marathon. It just kind of clicked in my head. I was like, could I possibly do something like that? And I was like, there's no way, like that's impossible for me. Like it's completely impossible. And then, a few weeks later, I go to church, and it was around the time of the Olympics was happening. And one of the things was talking about running your own race and running it with God. And I was just like, wow, like another reference, like that's kind of crazy. Like I've been thinking about this, I've been really pondering it. And then now they're kind of talking about it in the sermon. So I really prayed and I really thought about it. And I was like, you know what? Like, if I really am going to believe in what I thought was impossible, I got to do it. So I decided, you know what? Like, I'm going to try it. What I'm going to do is make a promise that I'm going to run a marathon. And so one of the things with that promise was I wasn't allowed to cut my hair. So I actually grew my hair out for about a year and a half and was just training. But then, again, I was going through a divorce at the time. So a lot of things kind of got in the way of my training, and I stopped, and I was so ready to give up. But then fast forward January 2025, I was like, you know what? I made this promise. I'm not going to give up. It's been hard. It's been difficult. I'm on the other side of all the stuff that's been going on. And so I just decided, hey, you know what? Rather than running the race I originally was going to do, at the end of 2025, I'll be doing what was the very first inaugural Corpus Christi Marathon. So
Whoa.
again, just
Okay.
training and just, getting stronger. And each time, I couldn't even run a mile when I first started, and my time was terrible. But the more I just went at it, the more I focused on what I was doing and the goals and all the things that were going on in my life, and this was just helping me focus on something completely different. My mind was taken off of the world I was in. I was just so focused on this thing right here and right now.
And
And it just became therapy after a bit.
you know, man, there's so much and I just want to interrupt a little bit because there's so much from so there was a religious experience, you would
Hmm.
say, and also a traumatic event. A divorce is just traumatic. It doesn't matter if it's like, I don't know, what is it, like amicable or whatever. It's
Yeah.
still just like it's separation.
Hmm.
And then there was a commitment to this goal that was inspired by one of your social media influencer. You said
Yeah, yeah.
it.
His name is Sam Golbach.
Okay,
Yeah,
TikToker, YouTuber.
he's mostly YouTube. He does a channel called Sam and Colby with one of his best friends, actually. They mainly do like ghost hunting and stuff, but on his own channel, like he just does different things. And he had released this video where he did a marathon. And what he did is he had a bunch of his friends. Each mile he did, they'd switch
Oh, they
off, and
did a
like,
leg. Did a leg of
yeah,
it.
each
That's
leg it
cool.
was a different person that ran with him.
Yeah.
And
See,
I just
when you do your 100-mile race or your craziness, because I know you're gonna do it. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a leg of that. Okay, I can't, bro.
You'll do the half with me.
Yeah, I got you. I could probably do a marathon with you. How about that? Like, I feel like I can be that crazy with you.
Yeah, so it was just all these things that were like pointing to, hey, like, do this, like, prove that you could do impossible things with just this belief in your heart. And that's what was really driving me, because all these things, like I said, were happening in my life, but at the same time, a lot of good came from it. My relationship with my kids got a lot stronger. I started
Dude, I love that.
loving myself
Like,
again.
I love that Casey and you run together and do 5Ks. Like,
Yeah,
when I
and
see that
Kaylee
on
started to get into it too.
yeah,
I had Kaylee do a 1K with by herself, actually,
dude, when I see those
not
pictures
so
on
long ago.
Instagram, if I can like super like them or like them more than just a double tap, it would like I would do that for. I love when I see that.
Yeah, and it's good because it was something that me and the girls could do together, and they can see like the example, like, dad is 33 years old. He's gone through all this stuff, and look at him. He's smiling while running. It's painful, it's hard, tears are coming down. And whenever I finally got to that moment of running that first marathon, like, it didn't go how I planned. I everything that I had planned kind of went out the window, and it was just me against myself, and I was just pushing through my pain, in my knees, my feet. I was bleeding, I was severely dehydrated, cramping. But once I passed that finish line, my kids were there, and so was my sister, and I just went up to them and hugged them, and man, I've never cried so much, like, just tears of happiness and like this joy, and like they just held me, and like everything that I had went through, it led to that moment of just, what, like, I always compare things to a run. Like anything in life, you can compare it to a run. It's hard at first. You're gonna stumble. You're gonna set yourself back. Things are gonna happen. But if you just keep pushing and just keep
Hmm.
going, you're gonna hit that finish line, and then you'll be able to raise your hands in victory and say, you know what? All that crap that should have killed me, here I am. And I heard this quote from a running influencer, and it really struck a chord to where, like, I just kind of broke down. And a little bit about my past, and I'm gonna kind of be vulnerable here, but there was a time in life where I was, very mentally depressed. I, was a little suicidal. Like, I really had this negative thought of myself that, and I just hated myself so much. And so I heard this quote that the same brain that wanted you to kill yourself is the same one that just made you do the impossible and run this marathon.
Dude,
And
that's
like that struck a chord. It was like, man, like, I just did something I never thought I could possibly do. And it's the same brain that used to tell me that I hate myself. Now it's saying, look what you just accomplished when you just pushed and you just kept going
Yeah, I think that's
regardless.
beautiful, right? Like, it's
Hmm.
truly, you know how if you can synthesize it down a little more, Justin, and if you can just really be like, what's the most simplest way to put what you just said, and make everyone understand it, is that it gets better,
Hmm.
right? Just that's it gets better.
Yeah. And that's, you cry. The hard part's done. You've everything that should have hurt you and should have made you quit, and your body's telling you to stop. And eventually your body will make you stop, but you just keep going. It's like that feeling at the end when you could just finally breathe and just raise your hands and say, man, like I could have easily stopped at mile 10, at mile 15, at mile 20, but I
All right,
kept
now you're
going.
getting carried away. I haven't went past 13.1, brother. All
But yeah,
right.
and that's the thing, like, now I look back and it's like, man, like I still, like, I'll look at the medal sometimes. It's like that's now a distant memory. Like I've already done that. I didn't need to run this marathon recently, but it's like, you know what? Like what can I do next?
Hey,
And that's where I started doing more goals. Like, hey,
you got to
my
put
goal
your
eventually is
body.
doing a triathlon.
You got to put your body through it. That's
Yeah.
just kind of what I'm realizing. But hey, before we get a little deeper into this conversation, hey everyone, thanks for making it into the podcast and supporting us this far. My name is Luther, your host. This is your daily dose. And if you kind of vibe with conversations like this, give us a like, subscribe, share it with someone, tell a friend that you got a friend or a cool guy in San Diego, California that hosts a podcast. Also, a big part of this is advertisement for like my yoga practice or just whatever or just my practice in fitness. I have a desire and a passion to help people move, to help people make not the right choice, but a choice that is going to be non-harming to them or others. And if you get down with that, follow me at Train with Sand on Instagram and shoot me a message, and we'll schedule a yoga sesh at a park in San Diego, California, Monday and Wednesdays at 1800, which is 6 p.m. Sorry about that, Justin. Just need to get that out there.
No, completely fine.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's take like a reset breath together, right? And a reset breath is just when I say inhale, slowly inhale through your nose, starting now. And at the very top, just clasp your lips and hold for a little bit. Understanding that you control you. And then with the cue of saying exhale through your mouth, allowing the chest to fall naturally and you to settle in the natural curvature of your spine. Because, hey, we're just talking about what some people consider some deep thoughts. The word suicide is there, divorce, mental health, depression. It's all there, and I think a lot of people can relate to this experience or whatever you're going through right now. Because man, life is life, right?
Hmm.
The older I get, I find it so funny, and I say it in a joking way, but like we're all fucked up. like like we're either all have something going on where you know there's a time where I bet you in your youth, probably in your 20s, you were going through some shit and you would not openly talk about it to anyone, not even a
Hmm.
friend. And I've been that person as well. And I just think that's a sign of youth, and there's nothing wrong with that, because eventually you grow and understand that, like, opening up is just relieving, honestly, in the most simplest way to say it. But hey, for someone that's like kind of can relate and like, man, there's other things. It's like losing a job that you've been dedicated to, a breakup, or a situation, or just like, being disappointed in something that you were looking forward to. And would you recommend, since running really helped you, kind of, I'm not saying, because I hate when people like look at running and be like, is it going to like fix this? Like, that's not life, but it's going to add some experiences to your
Hmm.
life that will make you smile. Like, and it's going to suck. But would you suggest, since you've been, dude, you ran 2 marathons now, two official half marathons, and then how many official half marathons just in your training for your marathons? So would you suggest someone get into the running, and would you tell them to go for that marathon goal out the gate, or go for like a 3K, 5K, 10K?
Yeah,
What are
I
you
mean,
thinking?
I actually have this friend that I went to high school with, and she actually, has been seeing, my posts about my running, and it actually kind of inspired
Oh, I
her.
forgot. You're
And her
TikTok
goal was
famous.
just doing a 5K. And I told her, I was like, hey, that's such a good goal. Just even going, even if you're walking it, like, just being a part of that community, and like people, applauding you, and pushing you. You meet such amazing people. And that was the thing, again, going back to my marathon, I ran with this lady that had done 7 marathons in her past, and she stayed with me pretty much the whole time, and like kept pushing me forward, and just kept resetting my mind of like, look, like, remember why you're here. She gave me all these tips that I use today, and it's like, and I hugged her at the end, and I was like, I couldn't have done this without you. And so I would say to anyone that's able to, get out there. You don't have to run a marathon. You don't have to do it within a certain time. You don't even have to run the whole thing on one thing. It's like, just get out there and just be a part of something that you never thought you could do. It takes one step. And then from there, you're just going to get stronger whenever you do it. The more you do it, the more you expose yourself to that. I promise you, it's going to be this thing that it's just going to change you, and it could only change you for the better.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like, especially if you're running your own pace. I find
Hmm.
when people are like, "Oh, I've injured myself and everything," there's a comparison demon in that,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like, "Hey, I have this program where I need to be running these amount of miles at this speed." I'm like, "Hey, the time on feet matters when you're running. How long can you be out there? That's really it."
Hmm.
And how, like, just how tough are you? Because sometimes it's not even about how good your cardio is. It's like, how tough are you? And I find it so fascinating that helping people in fitness. And so the number one reason why people do yoga, right? Because I'm just so into yoga, I learned this recently. It's not like muscle development, strength development. It's not a tone, body, fat loss. You know what it is?
Mm.
Can you just give me like one guess?
I'm assuming it's just something for mental, because it's just giving you that time to pause a little bit and focus.
See, I love that answer. Yeah, it's like in it's stress release. That's how it's like categorized
Mhm.
in the stats. But that what you just said right there, it gives you time to just like be okay with the noise around you, figure out how to focus on one thing, and then let it just settle. And I feel the same thing with long runs.
Mhm.
Like sprinting, God, hell, dude. Like, hills. Oh my God, what are we doing out here? Like, what? But, dude, if you go on that nice long run and you run your race, and what I mean by that is when you feel like walking, guess what? Take a walk. It's okay.
Mhm.
Give me like 90 seconds, 2 minutes just to recover. And guess what? Interval run. Give me 2 minutes, or give me a mile. Run a mile, then walk 3 minutes. Run a mile, then walk 3 minutes. Stuff like that. I love that type of just knowing that that you can just run your pace, and when you really understand that, and it turns into like what I'm talking about, like this active meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, where I was going, I'm so sorry, I got a little lost there. I find it fascinating that you went through a pretty traumatic event of a divorce, you said, and it kind of led you into the word of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw your influencer running a marathon. You're like, well, can I do that? And then you went to church, and there was like, boom, there was something about running your own
Mm-hmm.
race. It's like that symmetry that was popping up in a consistent manner that you notice, and you're like, I'm going to take action.
Yeah.
But you're going through something rough, Justin, and you're going to go do something even like not even rougher, but like also rough and tough to make you feel better. And I wish
Yeah.
people would understand that. Like you are the things that make you feel better are also the things that make you like, because you're already coming from a rough point and you got to go put your body through this training cycle, these miles and run, but it just fortifies you. And I find it fascinating that people don't notice that, but they always pick like a tough thing to do. Like during a breakup, when someone just like wants to lose a bunch of weight, that's a rough thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
but they're motivated by it, right?
Yeah, for
It's just
sure.
fascinating. Fascinating. I love the miles though, man. I love the active meditation of it. I really enjoyed that you were like, hey, sign up for this race, and you kind of spot checked me. It was so tough, but it was so fun and rewarding.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing a race a month. I got a 9 mile race in Big Bear this Sunday, dude.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's so bad, Justin. I thought it was going to be a 10K. Excuse, 1 second. Yeah, I thought it was going to
uh,
be a 10K, and then it was 9 miles. I'm like, oh. So my goal here is under 2 hours, but I haven't ran an elevation. For people that don't know, like Big Bear is, I don't know the elevation difference, but it's in the mountains, like Big Bear Mountains. So God, it's gonna roast me. I just want to I want to finish and get my medal, man. So that's my
yeah.
race for June. What, you got a race for June?
I don't think I have anything this month, but next month I'm gonna have another half marathon. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's so funny because again, whenever I started, I couldn't even run half a mile, and now I just look back and it's like, man, like those baby steps and like that stuff I went through, it strengthened me. And for anyone that's listening and has thought about it, it's like, go out there and like I said, run your race. Whenever me and you did the half, you did it at a different pace than I did, and we just ran our own thing. It's hard not to compare yourself to other people, but when you just have that mindset of just focusing on yourself and not comparing yourself to others, it just opens all these doors for you. And it just leads into everything in your life. Like, you know what? Like, it's hard right now, but it's not going to be hard later.
Boom. I love it. And I think we're going to wrap this episode up of Your Daily Dose, brought to you by KPTZ. Again, this was Justin coming to you from Texas. I was gonna say your hometown, but I was like, I'll just let him tell you if he wants to tell you.
Yeah, from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Boom. Hey, this guy's really cool. Has a very interesting individual. You're gonna hear a lot of him if he wants to come back. And Justin, all you got to do is be like, text me podcast, and we'll set it up and we'll do this. But hey, man, I want to thank you so much for kind of sharing that story. That's some vulnerable stuff. Some people will probably listen to it and be like, oh, whatever, that's whatever. Because people have different experiences. They have different calluses in life. But I think you really peel back some layers, especially on a podcast. And I've always enjoyed having some conversations with you, man. And I'm kind of glad that we kind of just we were on the phone catching up. I asked you if you wanted to do it, and you're like, of course, you're like, hell yeah, man. So appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime. And I really appreciate you for letting me share with, whoever's going to listen.
Yeah, and you'll hear Justin a lot here on your daily dose, coming to you live from. No, we're not live, but from San Diego, California. This is Luther. I don't know why I say California like that. It's weird, and like I feel like that's like one of those things where you have just a mic in your hand. You say like when people say like important.
Oh,
Like,
the enunciation.
yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. San Diego, Cali. Hey, we'll talk to you on episode 3. See ya.